How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Last Seed Podcast. It's your boy John with my boy Ty. Uh, a lot of stuff's happened in the last couple weeks. Let's get right down to it. But before that, hit that subscribe button, please. We are, as of this recording, we are 2 subscribers. Just
Two more, nice.
2 away from 50. So close. Gonna get that live access on YouTube, I think, after this episode. We're really pumped about that. But let's get into some Bills. So it's been a couple weeks since we talked on the show. Big game, big one over the Chiefs. You know what I mean? What was your main reaction from that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge game. I felt like there was kind of a panic, when Buffalo lost 2 in a row. They lost to who was it? Atlanta Monday night, and then they lost to New England at home. And I think there was just kind of like a panic, like, this team's not that good. Like, the offense isn't good. Josh Allen isn't playing good. And then, we go out and destroy Carolina. And then you still have people who are like, this team isn't good and blah, blah, blah. And then, going in and beating the Chiefs. I mean, we have looked like a different team. That was the best game we played all year. So just being able to go up against that high-powered offense, and their defense is always good. And especially against us, like Spagnuolo always has like great, game plans for their defense. So I think it was a huge win, a big confidence booster, especially when, like going into Sunday we play Miami. Anything could happen, but I mean we got all the momentum in the world, and I'm never worried about the Dolphins. So
For sure. We'll talk about more of the Dolphins later on, but yeah, I was definitely, I don't know what the word is, because let's be honest, the past 4 or 5 seasons now, we've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season, and we know what's happened after that.
right.
I want to say maybe the word is like reassuring. I don't know if I'm really pumped about this. I mean, like, I'm happy we won, don't get me wrong, but I'm more reassured because, like you said, before the bye week happened, we were really not looking good. Like, if you asked me then what I thought would happen this game, I probably would have thought the Chiefs would have hung up like 35, 40 points on us.
Right.
We were looking against, offenses less potent than them. So that was reassuring. It's great to see Max Hairston play well these last couple weeks. He didn't play a lot of snaps against the Panthers. He played a little bit more against the Chiefs. It's definitely great to see him playing well. It seems like, you know what I mean? It was definitely a huge obstacle for him to come back from an injury that you suffered in training camp, especially for a rookie. And for him to come back and play well right away, I think it's a good sign that, being really hit on this draft pick, and this is not another like Elam situation.
Right.
So super pumped about that. I was super pumped about the way Hoyt was looking. It's definitely very unfortunate that we lost him. I really think he was making a difference on the defense. It's just so unfortunate. Like I said, that, you know what I mean, we're not keeping around the full season. And I love like the video they showed of him, like after he pops Achilles, wanting to stay on the bench. Like, that's just the type of player you want in your team.
Right.
Maybe even bigger. It did 2 things. Maybe even a bigger fan of Hoyt, and number 2, maybe even more sick to my stomach that he's out. So it's definitely a tough loss. But you got to like the way the defense is looking. It seems like McDermott's taken more of a role in like the play calling again, which I think that's a positive. I think, you know what I mean? You just got to, you know what I mean? McDermott's a great play caller defensively. He's always proven that. I think he wanted to give more reins to Babbage so he can focus on other parts of the game, but it just seems like we're just better off with that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Especially, like you said, Harrison looking real good. Deion Walker's been a nice draft pick for us, and we'll probably see more of guys like him.
Yeah, we're gonna have to now.
Landon Jackson's been a healthy scratch for pretty much every game this year, besides 2, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see him too. Taylor Rapp is hurt. Cole Bishop played ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's another great.
I mean, that's a guy that a lot of people were just kind of like, wondering how he was going to be and stuff like that, and that dude played amazing. So, it's one of those things. It sucks with the injuries. But it is the next man up. What they'll say and they'll tell you, and you got to make the most of it. But that's the best I think the defense looked just as a unit. I mean, you could say they looked great against Carolina because they only gave up 9 points.
Right.
But I mean, just in the circumstances that they were in, I think that was the best they've looked.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, that was a huge win. And, I know a lot of people get caught up on like we win against the Chiefs in the regular season, but they beat us in the playoffs. But the thing is if we would have lost this game, people will be panicking a million times more than they already were. They'll be saying, you know, the 1 seed's gone. You know, we're not going to win our division now, and blah blah blah. So Bills fans are just, I can't say all of them, but there's a bunch of them who are just so spoiled. If they don't beat every team every week by 40, you know, no one's happy.
Yeah, that's like the number one bad take I've seen from this is like they're basically people are basically saying we've been better off losing this game. You want to win every game you can,
right?
And especially against a rival like this. And look at the Chiefs this year. Like there's a chance they can miss the playoffs still. You know what I mean? So if you want to avoid the Chiefs, you know what I mean. Like everyone probably does at this point. They just have our number in the playoffs every year. They can't hurt us if they're not in the playoffs. So I think they still get in, but I mean, it definitely creates more drama for them. And another thing on Cole Bishop, I mean, I think, you know, me personally, you know what I mean, maybe I jumped the gun on it a little bit too, you know what I mean, just seeing how he played in the preseason and stuff like that. I wasn't ready to, like, you know, cut the dude or anything like that, but, you know what I mean, I was concerned. But, you know, I think it's definitely a lesson that we have to be more patient with our young players and stuff like that. Not everyone figures it out right away. You know, obviously the coaching staff saw that Bishop had the tools to be a good player. You know what I mean? He just needs, and like they said repeatedly, he needs reps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was definitely great to see players like him, you know, like Hairston, like I said before. Obviously, Bean's been under fire a lot for missing out on draft picks. Well, those are two guys right there that were draft picks that are starting to perform really well in the back end for our defense. So it's definitely a great thing to see.
Yeah, for sure. And another guy like that who I think I kind of like had a short leash with, was Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, and me too.
And the reason I think is because the Bills have never had a great tight end for as long as I can remember. And I kind of was just like, man, like this guy, like he's just another tight end that's not going to work out. And he's been our best receiver this year.
Oh, like people have been you know what I mean, hammering the Bills saying like we don't have like that number one option in the passing game. It's looking like we do, and it's Dalton Kincaid. Maybe we don't have it on the outside and receiver and stuff like that. We'll talk maybe a little more about that soon. But yeah, Kincaid's been insanely good this year. Like even when, you know what I mean, things weren't looking great for us, you know what I mean, for that short period during the season, Kincaid's probably been one of our more consistent guys outside of Allen and Cook on the offense. So.
Right, yeah, he's definitely that guy who can, like, you know, create space in the middle of the field and, you know, just really open it up for other guys. And I feel like, you know, him and Shakir kind of had a slow start, but we know what Shakir is. Shakir is a guy that can, you know, he can get open, and, you know, especially get a bunch of yards after the catch. So, you know, I think we're fine. I just think that people are just so impatient.
Right.
You know, and not to get like too much off subject or anything like that, but like the whole Keon Coleman thing, there's like this huge target on his back now, and like national media is taking over.
Steve Smith's been
yeah, and it's just
let's start on this topic. Let's get into it.
It's because there's nothing else to talk about. You know, these shows and these, you know, whatever these TV shows are, sports, you know, broadcasts and whatever. I don't know. I don't even know what. Like, was that just him saying it, or was he on like a show? Like, I have no idea.
He's on he has he has a show on Underdog.
Oh, okay.
I will say I do love Steve Smith's show. I think he's really fair in his assessments. I know some Bills fans were upset that he was talking about that with Keon Coleman. I take Steve Smith as someone that's very knowledgeable and has no dogs in the fight. You know what I mean? I don't think he's just attacking Keon Coleman just to attack Keon Coleman.
Right.
I'm a little concerned with Coleman. You know what I mean? He just hasn't been good since the Baltimore game. I'm not fully giving up on him. I think I might be giving up on him for this season, though. It just seems like it's just not there. What do you think?
I'm kind of like the opposite. I mean, I really don't have like a panic button on him. Like, if I had to like pick 1 through 10 how concerned I am with him, it'd probably be like a 4. And the reason is because the Bills knew who Keon Coleman was when they drafted him. He was not a fast guy. He ran a bad 40. There's literally a video of Brandon Beane watching Coleman's 40-yard dash and being excited that he ran it so slow because he figured a lot of teams would not want him then.
Right.
So you knew you were getting this big physical guy who doesn't get a lot of separation, doesn't run fast, but he's a guy that, you know, can make contested plays, can, you know, be like a red zone threat. The Bills don't throw the ball in the red zone. We're one of the teams that run the ball the most. So, you know, we're not going to see a lot of Coleman in the red zone. And also, Coleman plays on the outside here. He played inside in college. So that's something they got to figure out. I did see him play a few snaps inside last game. So maybe it's something they're trying out. But the thing is, though, is that I feel like once we really start moving the ball down the field, especially when we can run and open up the play action. When you have a guy like Kincaid or Shakir that can really just sit in the middle that guys have to worry about, I feel like you can kind of free up Coleman, and it's something where you can't have every guy in the middle. You're not going to have Shakir lining up outside.
No,
you're not going to have Kincaid lining up outside unless you send him out and he has like a linebacker on him,
right,
or something like that. So it's kind of hard to I guess fit Coleman in somewhere.
His problem is that he can't. He's just not winning any outside at all right now. You know what I mean? And I want to have more patience with him. You know how high I was on him before the season, but you definitely can't let go. I can't let go of the fact that we did. You know what I mean? We did draft him over Ladd McConkey,
right?
Xavier Worthy. You know what I mean? Like if I think we can all agree that if we had either one of those guys instead of Coleman right now, we will be way more happy with the immediate return.
So, yeah, it's a guy where I didn't see the Bills. I would have been stunned if the Bills took McConkey because they have Shakir, and that's another Shakir.
But in my opinion, it's not because I've seen McConkey line up outside a lot.
Oh, he can.
I think he's an all-around receiver.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he can be, but I just think that the Bills looked at him as an inside guy, and that's why they didn't take him. Now a guy like Worthy, where it's like you had your choice. Do you want the speed or do you want the size? They want the size,
right?
And obviously, it's not working out to this point. But honestly, I think he'll be. I think when we have a fully healthy offense, like when Palmer's out there and stuff like that. Same thing with Moore. I think Elijah Moore is like a real sneaky guy that could, stretch the field too. So I think if you really can put like those guys all on the field together, or at least put like Palmer and Coleman out there and throw some different looks at the defense, I think he'll be fine. I mean, if there's, Sunday's game, if he's 1-on-1 and, you throw him a couple catches or a couple balls and he doesn't grab him, and is it, oh, he had this guy beat, but he dropped it, or they threw him a go route, but he's just not fast enough to get there. There's definitely some things to to look at, but I feel like they just need to find more of like a spot for him,
right,
and not just throw him on the outside.
I will say one thing in defense of Coleman, people are really like getting on like the separation thing and stuff like that. I don't think even if like the best case scenario happens for him, I don't think he's ever going to be a great separator. I just don't think he's that type of player.
Right.
What he's got to get better at the NFL level is be really high end on the contested catches type stuff. He needs to be like that guy where if he's 1-on-1 and you throw it up to him with those 50-50 balls, you know what I mean? He can come down with them more often.
Right. We saw that last year in the Seattle game before he got hurt. They were in the red zone. They had 1-on-1 with Woolen, and they did it to, I think it was to the left side, and it was incomplete or there was a flag. They come back and run the same play, but do it to the right side, and this time Coleman comes down with it. So, I mean, I feel like that's his game. It's just you're not going to see that a lot because you have Allen and Cook, and when you're in the red zone and you're inside the 10 or anything like that, these are two guys that are just going to run the ball.
Right.
So,
but
yeah, I don't think it's really too much to panic on. I think if we're in the same spot this time next year and we're having the same conversation,
it might be time to cut bait then.
Yeah. I think it's a different story.
It's just tough because, you know what I mean? I don't mind developing guys at all. You know what I mean? Like, you know me, like, I don't mind, being patient with guys. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we are a team, trying to win a Super Bowl. Now, I'm just throwing out a hypothetical out there. Let's just say Gabe Davis does come back fully healthy. You know what I mean? And he's Gabe from like 2 or 3 years ago, even we'll say. I really think you have to consider putting him on the bench more, Coleman on the bench more for Gabe Davis then at that point.
Yeah, I don't really see that happen. Me personally, I don't think Gabe plays at all this year.
And that's very possible too. They don't. So
I feel like his injury is way worse than. I mean, he was having all these these meetings with teams and stuff like that. I mean, Jacksonville signed him and didn't even give him a physical,
right?
And he was hurt. Good for him, right? He got to play and get paid, but I think this is just such a crowded receiver room, and it's like I feel like the only way he's coming up is if he's very healthy and there's an injury to a receiver, and it's like, okay, we're just gonna call him up and see what he can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be great for him to come back. I hope he's healthy.
Right.
You know, I hope he's the Gabe Davis, you know, that we had a handful of years ago because I mean, Josh and him had a great connection.
Yeah.
He just has to bring that ball in more.
Yeah, I mean, people can. I know people will, joke around about him all we want, but I mean, he's had seasons where he's caught 6, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'll never forget being at that Steelers game. Was it 98 yards?
Yeah.
Allen just dotted them down the field, and
But that's what I'm saying, though. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a team trying to win a Super Bowl, you know what I mean, and you are at least getting that, or at least most of that Gabe out of them. I mean, it's something you would have to consider at that point. Obviously, we are very far away from that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against trying anything once at least. You know, it's something where, like you said, we're trying to win now. So if you think it's something that could help you win, it's like you might as well at least try it out.
And also, too, he is a great run blocker. So it's if Coleman's not catching if they're both not catching anything, I'd rather have Gabe out there.
Yeah, at least let him block, right?
So that's just my point of view on it. But let's see. So this week we do have the Dolphins. As we all know, we always destroy the Dolphins. You know, do you think trap game is in order here, or do you think that we're...
No, I don't think it's a trap game at all. I mean, the Dolphins, man, they're just a dumpster fire.
Yeah, by definition, this is a trap game, though. I don't think we do, but...
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it like that, but I mean, I think they blow them out.
Yeah.
It's just, and there's guys I like on the Dolphins, like I like Waddle, I like Achane, guys like that, but it's just, I don't know, they're just so bad.
Yeah.
And I think they're one of the top teams when it comes to turning the ball over too, and it's like, listen, it's like, you can't turn the ball over on top of when your offense is struggling and your offense is based off of Tua getting the ball out so fast.
Yeah.
When he can't do that and you're turning the ball over, there's no way for you to win. You know, you're running out of ideas at that point.
Something about the Dolphins, though, I don't think Mike McDaniel's a bad coach. Like, I think
I
think he's still a great offensive mind. But look at it like this: you have a quarterback that's very limited with Tua. You know what I mean? In the beginning, when no one had it figured out, they were running great. But then, you know what I mean, when they figured it out, I think if you give like McDaniel hypothetically, like, you know what I mean, a top end quarterback or someone that's just better, I think he.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, if you give him a better quarterback and he plays well, it makes everyone look good. But
he's just not able to open up the playbook.
He's limited. You know, he's got a guy who pretty much, you know, is just limited to being in the pocket. And you know, like people say, like if that ball's not out in a second or two, that's their passing game's done.
Yeah.
I mean they can run the hell out of the ball with Achane though.
Yeah, that would be like my only concern this week is if Achane got going.
But the thing is, you know, if you get a good lead on it, if you're up 20, it's just like, okay, you can run the ball all you want.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not really going to help you much. But I'm pretty pumped about you know what I mean, the way the Bills are looking and everything like that. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. Appreciate everyone that watched. Before we leave, hit that like button, and again, hit that subscribe button, please. But until next time, peace out. Go Bills.